Jerry Trimble.
Yeah, Jerry Trimble was a bad motherfucker.
Golden Boy. That's what they call Atlanta's Jerry Trimble.
He hails from Vancouver, British Columbia. Manny, the school teacher, Sobral. Manny Sobral.
Yeah, happy 60th. How's that feel?
60th.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's a little it's okay. Ooh, hey, there it is. Hey, the champ.
Gentlemen, and the new!
And the new! Hell yeah.
Congrats, man. Very cool.
Thank you guys, man. Thank you.
It's almost like you're preparing for WWE because you had to hold this all secret for a couple of weeks.
It's true, and we are preparing for them, and it's all true, and that's what part of the call-out was on the back end, and I'll get into all of that, man. World's at our fingertips.
Wow.
So who are you fighting first, Lesnar?
Hey, Lesnar can get it however he wants. He wants him to give it that way, man. Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
Show me the money.
Who helped plan this vision, this path to that you're now realizing?
You're looking at it.
All you, huh?
I promise you. I sat there and regularly I just reflect. I think, I meditate, and what is it that I want of my life, and what am I passionate about? And I just, okay, how do I get there? And people can really, first of all, no one thought I could fight. They're like, you're just this wrestler, and you're a gentle giant. You've never fought your whole life. Like, what the hell are you doing? My closest people. And I'm like, nope, I know I can do it because, I educated decisions. And then I got into this, and obviously the Indian market, how we can build our brand. That mace is huge, right? And we're turning that into sort of getting through all the trademarks now for it and everything. So we protect our intellectual property on that. That's sort of like Thor's hammer for me, and it's got a story. And, the pro wrestling angle, weapon of war, all that kind of stuff, man. It's just, I was a pro wrestling fan growing up. And, it's all sports entertainment. The lines are blurred. Look at Triller now. They're killing it. It's not old school anymore. It's a different, you can do both. It's all blurred. And it's exciting. So throw me in there, man, while I still can and my body's able to. I'm ready to go.
You create your own reality, brother, and you're doing it. Wow.
It's true. And it's a lot of fun because people have their opinions. But at the end of the day, then only if you know yourself can you figure out the best decisions, right? And I've made them, and I've been able to be successful enough that I can continue making them for myself. And what else is life about if you're your own boss and you can take care of yourself and your loved ones? Fuck, you're winning.
And then you do movies. Yeah.
That's it. Then you put it on the silver screen and you sit back and enjoy that. Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Well, that was Jerry's path. He got the world titles and then he went to Hollywood.
There you go. So Jerry would know. Jerry, my management is Creative Artist Agency, CAA. So if you know Hollywood, you know
the
them.
best agencies, man.
That's it.
How long you been with them?
I've been with them since I got into the UFC because of Coach. He got me in, and then that was it. That's it. I just knew that they're the best in the game. How can I get to them? That's exact. I'm like, hey, these guys are repping some guys. They rep GSP, then they rep Cain Velasquez. And I'm like, obviously, the end goal is always TVs, always movies, always that. And I'm like, how do I get to these guys? Same thing. And then I started just mapping it out, and I got to them. And they only rep select athletes that they know they can make something off of. And they saw the potential with the whole Indian market and everything, and it's been beautiful ever since.
Good for you, man. Wow.
In the whole world, there's no one doing what you're doing, man.
Yeah. Thanks, man. I'd like to think so. I mean, they're very unique decisions, and I got a few unique ones now, and I'm gonna have to really chew on them. But there's so many forks in the road that you can go option A, option B. And what is it that you really want in your life? And it comes down to that. And then I got to put in the work. So I really got to figure out what I want, because then if I want it, then I'm willing to do anything to go get it.
Right.
So some more decisions, and it's good having options, right? If you're pigeonholed and you're stuck, and that's the worst place to be.
Yeah, the best thing to do is have as many doors open as possible, so you can choose the door you want to go through. And if that don't work, this is going to work, right?
Absolutely.
When do you expect your first pro wrestling match to be? How soon, if you could materialize it?
Are we recording right now?
Oh, yeah. If you want to keep it off the record, you just tell me.
Okay. I didn't know we're on yet. Okay. All good. We're in talks. We're in heavy talks.
Heavy.
I actually, when I was a free agent from the UFC contract, before coming to one, we negotiated that vocabulary into my contract because I'd already envisioned that hey, I want this door open down the road. Because no one's ever done both, ever. Even Lesnar didn't do both. And I wanted that option there if I'm able to be successful enough to do that for myself. And so we're there and we're knocking on the doors, and they're reaching out to us, to be quite honest with you. That's why I cut that promo. I planted the seed and I let the buzz go online, and it was on ESPN today and everything. Yeah. And both companies are calling us up, and we're at the table, man. Let's go.
It's amazing. You're freaking Lower Mainland Vancouverite, buddy.
Isn't this crazy, man?
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah. Fucking crazy, man.
What was it, like 5 years ago, 6 years ago? You walked in the gym not even knowing how to throw a jab.
Oh, fuck, man.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
And watching you fight, like the feints you gave that guy and the distance you used, it's Mayweather all over again. Like, you know how you're pulling all the time? Like, he couldn't reach you, and you're the shorter man.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that really shut him down. They were saying he's not moving at speed. He's not mobile. And they asked him in his interview after, he's like, I don't know what happened. I feel that's what it was. And you correct me if I'm wrong. Even when he switched southpaw to get the open angle, we had a plan.
You switched with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's all distance. Remember we talked about it? Boxing is all distance. And you had that distance impeccably perfect because those punches were just coming right to your nose, you know, like when you were pulling, it was that beautiful. And you caught him with that overhand right that one time and it hurt him bad.
You really put your body behind your punches, man. I mean, nicely. And you were fighting from a fighting stance. He was fighting from a back stance.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Yeah. His style, what he was good at and what he is good at, and how. So he's been champ for 6 years and he's knocked out every heavyweight that he's fought. And how he's done it was on his back foot, countering always, and he'd keep you in distance with his kicks. And as you try to close the distance, he'd pop you. So we knew that, and that's what it was. We tried to either draw the kicks out, and then come in as he recoils, or get in before he kicks. And then I felt my boxing and my head movement was going to be sharper than him in the pocket. And the longer we keep him there, the more he has to work. He's not used to being in danger all the time. Yeah. He's used to being at range and picking his spots and being a sniper.
But you got the range.
Yeah.
You got the range. And the reason you got the range was the feints. He didn't know what was coming, when it was coming. And that's how you beat a counterpuncher. If you'd make him feel, hey, I don't know when he's coming, man. That feinting jab and that front foot when you stepped and stuff was it was, like I said, man, it was all Mayweather.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, man. It went great. I mean, and then one of the things I'm actually proud of, we thought we were gonna hurt him. Absolutely, was to be patient once we hurt him, because my first UFC fight, I dropped that guy, and then I tried to pounce on him, and I threw everything at him, and he was still there. And that's the first time I had like an adrenaline dump, and I was going between rounds. I was like, "Holy fuck, how am I gonna finish this fight?" And we got it out, no problem. But I didn't want to do that again, and I wanted to be precise. And I felt I did that when we hurt him with the overhand at first, and he buckled a little bit. I was still patient. I didn't go crazy,
Yeah. And when you had him on the ground, it seemed like you were so relaxed. Like, I mean, that's your game is wrestling, but you were so relaxed. You were letting him do all the work, right?
Yeah, and to be honest, he was slippery. He had something going on there. I've never felt someone so slippery in the first round. Never, ever. Head to toe. Not even head to toe like an oil slick. I had to, even when he had that submission on me, that's why I didn't move. I'm like, I don't want something fucking going south here because this guy's slippery as hell. I'm just going to hold my position, be tight. And even when I was on top, that's why I was very methodical. It was unbelievable. And I've grappled with some dirty guys in the past. Something was wrong there. Absolutely.
In a minute and a half, you threw, and I've watched it probably 5 or 6 times. You threw 60 when you hit him with that right cross to the body, and then you took him down. In a minute and a half, you threw 68 shots on him. You hit him with about 60 of them. The referee said 4 times, Vera, protect yourself. Vera, protect yourself. In a minute and a half, 68 times, you probably landed about maybe 59, 60 shots. You think they should have called it earlier? I don't know. I think they should have.
Yeah, you know what? I thought he would. And then when he wasn't is when I really started being, okay, I better pace myself. I don't know what this ref's on about. And,
Weird.
you know, yeah, it was very, very weird. But I will say one thing, too. Every time I hit him, whether it's standing or even on the ground, he was making noises. I could hear him. I was hurting him every time. I could feel him grunting when I got my hands on him. Like, he did not like any part of that fight.
Dude, you're a big boy, man.
Exactly. And the stadium was dead quiet. So I could hear, literally, we could talk like this, and I could hear the coaches. And so that there, and then, you know what? The fight was crazy. I got to tell you guys how that went down. But it was funny, even after the fight, they're saying the coaches were in a chess match. His coach would say something, Johnsy over here would counter, and then Johnsy would say something, he would counter, and because he could hear each other clearly. It was a dead quiet stadium, right? Mm-hmm. It was unique and fun to be around, though. One of the things, too, I think that really played off, in every one of his interviews, he said he was faster than every heavyweight that he's fought, and he was relying on that. But I felt we were faster for days, and my eyes were sharper for days, and I think that really made a difference, too.
He definitely underestimated you. Big time.
Yeah.
And what makes a guy fast too is like a Roy Jones or any of those guys is the feints they do, Arjun. I mean, even Tyson Fury, like he makes those weird type of moves, but he's catching guys all the time because guys can't get away from a punch they don't know is coming. And you're right. So beautiful at that, man.
Don't know what's coming because it could be any time.
Yeah, exactly.
And he went from Vera went from no motion to a motion of the shot, which is easier to see coming. But in your hands, dude, your hands were constantly moving. It was so, because when we're working with the boys and teaching them moving, keep the hands moving, because when they're moving, you don't know when a shot's going to go in. But when it goes from there to there, you can see it coming in easier. It was beautiful.
What they say, right? Constant motion. When you have constant motion, it's easier, more fluid, right? That's what they generally say.
And that's what you're doing with your waist too. Like you're always moving, you know. Like you weren't in one spot, so he couldn't really. Like he was guessing where to go, right?
He couldn't detect it. He couldn't detect anything you were throwing. It's boom, boom. It's like a freaking Mack truck every time hitting him.
Yeah. And so I'll tell you guys how the fight went down. You're gonna like this. Yeah. Look, you guys have a lifetime of experience over me in sports, but I don't know if you've heard a story like this. Check this out.
Yeah.
So I didn't know I was going to fight until 2 hours before. The fight was off.
Crazy.
2 hours before. Fight was off. And so how that went down was this. So they tested me. So I tested positive for COVID before the camp started. Remember that? I think I told you that.
I don't remember, Arjun, but Levente, I guess you heard it on ESPN or something, Levente?
Yeah, I was so mad that ESPN Ariel got to you first, so I was just watching it right now. And then you were sharing all these dynamite stories, and I was like, oh man, so I was just catching them up. But yeah,
okay, so you're familiar with it, but
me. You please share it because I
don't know.
Yeah. So I tested positive before. And then, and basically I talked to the company and I'm like, hey, listen, I'm positive. I don't want this to be an issue where I can't fly out or nothing like that. And they're like, okay, get a letter from BC, from the provincial government, BC Health or whatever. And so I got that letter, and what it said was, okay, this guy's tested positive. He's got antibodies. Here's the proof of it. But he's no longer infectious. So it might be in his system, but it's from before, and he's no longer infectious, and da-da-da-da. So we were armed with that, and we went over. So I cleared the test before we took off. Upon arrival, we test again. And so we're in a bubble out there. So we're not allowed out of our hotel room. So they got me in a suite. They got the coaches next door. Everyone has their own rooms. And you're not allowed to leave the room unless it's to the coach's room or the coaches come to my room, and you have to be escorted even for that. And the only reason you leave outside of that for your room is to go for a workout downstairs, which you have to be escorted for. No one could be there when you go there, and you have to sign out a time and all that. Aside from that, in my hotel room the entire trip. All my meals, everything. So anyway, so upon arrival, we get another test, and we're good to go. We get cleared. And then we get another one after that, a couple days in. And then we go to our face-offs and weigh-ins and this and that. And next thing you know, right after face-off, I come back and we get a phone call. They're like, okay, where's Arjun? Okay, you guys need to leave him alone, and he has to be in his room alone, and you're not allowed to go see him. Fight is off. He's tested positive.
Wow.
So they dropped this right before the fight. We're like, we've done face-offs and everything.
Wow.
And not only me, a couple other guys as well. I wasn't the only one. And so I'm just shook completely. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, we put in all this work and lifetime of work and you deal with a year pandemic. We're booked multiple times and we're here and now this happens. And then how can it happen? Because the coaches are good. And they've been with me the whole time and we even shared food and everything and they're good to go. It doesn't make sense. So I'm on the horn with my management, with these guys. I'm like, look, I have this letter. How is this even possible? It's supposed to clear me. And they're like, look, you're positive. They've tested your backup sample. Even that's positive. And usually this is it. We can't do anything else. We're begging them, test that one more time. Give us one more chance. He's our main event, Indian event, all that type of stuff. They're headquartered in Singapore, so they got pulled too, right? But they're like, this is out of our hands. It's all government protocol. So I'm going to them. I'm like, why the hell do I have this letter then? Like, they're like, oh, that was to get into the country. I'm like, why the hell would I want to get in the country if I can't fight? I wouldn't want leave me at home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're sorry, and it's government, and this and that. I'm like, okay. I'm like, listen, if you retest the same sample a third time, you're going to get the same result. You're not going to get a different result. That doesn't make sense to me. Right? I'm like, retest me. Get it. They're like, they don't generally do that. And just we're working with them. But as of right now, it's off. We're so sorry. We're going to do the best we can and da-da-da-da-da. So I'm sitting alone in my room now. Coaches can't be with me. I can't even call my family. I don't want to get them panicked or nothing. What the hell do we do? And that's it. So I'm dealing with all that. And I've got a giant, then you go worst case scenarios, all this stuff that was on the back end that we were planning and where life's going to go. All that's out the window. Then I'm okay, listen, I self-talk, right? I'm like, listen, they said they're working on it. I'm a big believer everything happens for a reason. I am a huge believer in that, and life plays out the way it's supposed to, and you roll with it. And I believe this was my destiny. I believe I was meant to be the first guy. My story resonates with everyone. I've got a body of work, a lifetime of work that people can connect with, and that's earned this shot. I had so many tests along the way. I don't even want to get into that got me to that point. I was like, just trust this. This is just another speed bump. It will happen. Main event on an Indian card first, you know what I mean? I'm like, there's no way that this can't happen. It's the universe will figure it out. There will be a way. There has to be a way. Doesn't make sense. No one else is going to main event me. How else are they going to get someone else to do this? I'm the guy. There's no one else on this planet otherwise. Yeah. And so I started talking about that and thinking about that. I'm like, okay, I just have to, in my mind, I think that I'm gonna try to move forward with that. So midnight, they come to my room and they're like, okay, we convince them to take another sample. They don't do that. They didn't do that for the other guys, and the other guys didn't even end up fighting, but they ended up agreeing for me. And so they came to my room and they took the sample, and I went to sleep not knowing what the hell's gonna happen when I wake up. Fights off and when I wake up.
Did you get to sleep though?
I prayed, Manny. What else can you do, man? I prayed, and it
You're
really
amazing.
It tests your belief. It tests your belief in things. And I again, in my preparation for the fight, I had some challenges, and I always leaned on that belief. And I was like, it's easy to lean on belief when things are easy. And if I'm a true believer, this is the test. And I'm just gonna let it go, and I'm gonna lean on that, and we'll see what life has to show me. Yeah. And that's how I went to sleep. And that was it, man. I said a prayer, and I said, it's out of my hands. If I believe, this is my destiny. I've done everything right in my life. I'm a good person. Don't fuck me. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then I went to sleep. And when I got up, we still didn't know. First thing, when you wake up and you sort of, maybe you have to take a piss or you go back to sleep or something. I kind of woke up and I was up like this as soon as my eyes opened. Yeah. And I was like, let me check my phone. Did they get back to me? Nothing yet. And then and essentially what they go, it takes 12 hours and da-da-da-da-da. So I have this whole routine I do fight day. We all do, right? And I'm trying to stay on top of that as much as I can, although I'm confined to a room and by myself. And family's hitting me up. We can't wait to watch. Good luck, all that. I'm like, sounds good. I told my wife, I go, hey, listen, this is what it is. Don't panic. We've leaned on belief. This is another test. How much do we actually believe? This is the test. And She's like, okay, all good. And she was good about it. She told me after she was freaking out after she hung up. But anyways, so the next day, so fight day, same thing. So I tell him, I go, listen, I need to know. Like, if you guys, when I told him, I come in, I go, look, I would rather have not known if you guys were going to still work on it and been on my game. And then you guys just tell me right before, hey, it's not going to happen. Rather than it's not going to happen, but we're working on it. Because you're dangling something that I don't know that's there or not. Like, but whatever. So then I go, look, I need to know. Like, I have a routine and I gotta be on. They go, look, we are willing to wait all night, 10, 11 p.m. if we have to get this answer. Even if all the rest of the fights are done, we'll still keep our production team in-house. We'll keep our setup there, everything, until we find out, because we want you guys to fight. And that's how it happened. That's exactly what happened. And they go, as soon as we find out, we're going to tell you, and you have 2 hours till you fight. We're going to give you a 2-hour heads up to warm up and everything, get to the arena, have your bags packed in case. And that's what we did. And so they called me. So the fight was supposed to be 11:30 our time in Vancouver. So the family was up and everything, and they watched. I didn't fight till 4:30, 5:30, or 5 in the morning, something like that. And they didn't know why the delay was even happening. I didn't tell them. And then they started freaking. They're like, is he hurt? Did he lose? We haven't heard from him. And my phone's already blown up. I haven't even fought. So the fight happens, and it was the most surreal experience, man. There's no other coaches in the back, no other fighters, dead quiet. Everyone stayed there. The lights were off until we walked in. Got the stadium lit up again, and it was the whole team stayed in house just for us. I'll never forget it, man. Warmed up, walked out, and just did the business, because it doesn't matter what happens in life. Outside of that cage, the world can freeze over. But when I walk in there, it's me and that guy, and I know that. And it doesn't matter. No one can fuck with that. And that's all I wanted, was to get in there. And the rest, I was going to take care of business.
Wow. Wild.
I know you've been saying in other interviews, but it was aired on the 15th of May, but you fought on April 28th.
Yeah, what was that?
29th. So,
29th.
Yeah, they made me sign a non-disclosure, an NDA about that. And, yeah, so essentially what they did, they had fights. They had multiple events from morning till night because there's no crowd. And so as a way for TV, where they get their events out anyways, they don't have to re-rent the whole stadium, set up production, da-da-da-da-da. So they did it morning till the afternoon, like more than one event. But I didn't get up till the evening anyhow. Like, everyone was gone and done, having dinner, everything. And then so the fight happens. And then I'm like, so we get it done. And then I told my closest family, you know what I mean? I had to. And I told them, look, this is the NDA. And this is what just happened. You guys had no idea how we got to the cage. But this is how it went down. But we have to sit tight on it. And that was a weird thing, because I'm the world champ. And I'm sitting in my room, essentially with two guys, two of my coaches. We had dinner. They went their rooms, and I'm all by myself, and I'm a world champ, and I've got to chew on that for 2 weeks, and then I got quarantined. I'm by myself for 2 weeks. It was the weirdest thing, man. And then we celebrate again with the world. So it's been a crazy few weeks, man.
Temptation resisted is a true measure of character.
Yeah.
To hold that shit in, man. To just, whoa, yeah, good for you, brother.
I agree. You know what? How I got through that too. I was just thinking, I'm like, look, whatever it is, Vera's going through it as well. He doesn't know whether it's happening or whether it's not happening. I've been in situations where I didn't know I was going to wrestle. Like wrestling tournaments, you go to the States and you wrestle down there collegiately, you weigh in the same day. And you do it, and you got a whole tournament bracket, so you don't know who you're going to wrestle first, second, third. You just go out there and do it. And so I'm like, I've been in a similar situation for many years. I have that experience. He doesn't. More than that, I've got a lifetime of dealing with adversity and overcoming stuff, and my belief in my place in life and in the greater scheme of things. I'm like, he doesn't have that stuff. And I just really leaned on that in terms of confidence, that if the cards are stacked the same for me and him, I will come out on top, because my lived experience, my life, he can't compare to.
Tell me about that right hand that finished the fight. That was the beginning of the end. I was texting back and forth with Manny. He said, you guys, tell us, Manny. You guys worked on that?
I don't know. We worked on that. Oh, the pull right hand, like follow the jab. Like I threw the jab out and you pulled and then you just came right over the top with that right hand. I mean, we worked on that for years. And I'm sure you worked with that with John C. as well, right?
Yeah. It started there, absolutely. And one of the things that for the distance is the front foot, right?
Yeah. You got it, buddy. The front foot.
right.
But you remember we argued about that because you said it's difficult to have the front foot out too close because of the kicks. But you pulled that foot back a lot of times to catch the kick with your shin, remember?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. That was the growth, right? Trying to play with that. But it's the same fundamentals, same techniques, and you would know best, both of you guys, right? I didn't load it up. It was there.
Let it go.
Yeah.
Because it's the punches you don't see that hurt you, and he didn't see that over the top.
Yeah, absolutely. So we just let it fly. I didn't load. I didn't load it up on anything in the fight, to be honest. Because I was ready for 25 minutes, and I was going to do that for 5 rounds and keep plugging away. And I felt fresh after the fight, and like you said, he didn't see it, so it hurt him.
Yeah. And the thing is, how did you get all that training? Like, when did you go to Singapore and everything? Like, how long were you there before the fight?
Yeah, so we were there a week. We had it out on the 23rd. Yeah. We got out there. And so we got a little bit of training out there, fight 29th. And then, so check this out, to even get out of the country, it was tricky. So you have to do another test to get out if you stay a certain amount of time.
No way.
And so the company comes up to me. They're like, hey, look, you had a tricky test. We recommend you get the F out of here tonight. I wasn't going to come out for another 2 days with my flight. So we changed the flight to get out that night. I was in the swimming pool downstairs. But how we were celebrating, because only 3 of us are together. We're in the pool. We called their food, what's it called? Food Panda, which is to skip the dishes. That's how we got all our meals. Yeah. And we got donuts. And we're sitting in the pool. I had donuts poolside, and that was our celebration. We're not allowed anything else. And they came poolside, and they're like, hey, we recommend you guys get the heck out of here because you had a funny test, and we don't want you getting stuck here, but it's up to you. I'm like, let's go. And they go, you got 10 minutes to pack. The flight leaves in like 2.5 hours. So we got the hell out of there. That's how we left the country.
Wow. That's amazing. So all those times I was texting you, you were in friggin' Richmond.
I know. Some of those I was in Singapore. Some of those were in Singapore. But then I did get back, and then near the end there, I was in Richmond. And I just started.
I know you had to do your thing, man.
I tried not to talk to anybody on the phone. Text, okay, I can say whatever. But if I talk to you, I'll think, listen, Manny, I'm gonna be straight up. This is what it is. I'm gonna hold it from you. So I was in quarantine, so I couldn't leave and go out in the world.
Yeah, exactly. So
that helped.
Yeah.
So that helped. I didn't run into anybody. I stayed off my phone, and so that helped.
Yeah, totally. Because it would have been a little weird. Hey, are you supposed to be in Singapore for next tomorrow or what?
Yeah. It was really weird. And guys like you guys are my inner circle, right? I can't talk to you and bullshit you like that.
Can't.
You know what I mean? I'm not gonna. Yeah, Manny, I'm getting ready. I'm already on. I'm sitting out. That's not gonna come out. I'm not. You know
that's
what I mean?
Not part of your fabric. Stop part of your fabric, man.
And, to be honest, I felt like a fraud whenever anyone reached out wishing me luck. Yeah. I felt dirty. I'm like, I don't like this. Even when I made my posts, I was like, for some of those, I was back, and I'm like, it doesn't feel right. How am I supposed to go about this? And then I'm trying to think, okay, what kind of mind, like, where would I be at in that time? Like, if it was real.
You're reminiscing to what you were feeling like, right?
Exactly. Oh man. And then I'm like, I can't speak, I can't play it up like I'm gonna do this because then it's not genuine.
You've already done it.
Yeah.
You can't say what you're gonna do because you'd already done it, man.
It was so weird, Manny. I tell you,
like,
man.
Jerry, that's being a good actor, isn't it?
There you go, man. You're ahead of the game, brother. I'll plant a seed. I can't wait to work with you.
Hey. So they say pro wrestling is like stunt work. So I'll start with that, then I'll get into the the good life, just kicking back.
Where is the belt? Can you show us?
It is downstairs.
The kids are playing with it.
Yeah, I got my wife. You want to grab it for me? My wife's gonna grab it. She'll run down.
That's awesome.
That's the other. Hey, you guys tell me, man. What's the best way to store these things? I don't want it to get damaged.
I had mine put on I see if I forget where I put it actually, but I had to put it on in a sort of thing like bolted on, but it's no good because you can't really take it and show it. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of. I was thinking of putting it up somewhere, but then I saw that's kind of gaudy. You know, like so a lot of the fighters put them up. You know,
If do I fold it and put it together and like that, but would that ruin the leather and like?
No. You let it sit. You let it sit. I think is the best way, and it's not going to ruin the leather. But I wouldn't mount it on anything because then you can't let people actually touch it.
Yeah, you just let, and when people come over, you let them hold it. You let them just bask in the
Yeah.
How funny is this?
This is awesome.
Hey, you guys! We've talked techniques, fighting techniques. Now I need some belt techniques, man.
That's hilarious.
Oh, look at that!
So this is so the heavyweight title is bigger than all the other titles, like physically as well, because of just the dimensions of individuals, I guess, or whatever. Yeah. So this thing's heavy, man. It weighs like 30, 40 pounds.
Wow.
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Wow, it is. That's crazy, man. Congrats.
So you're gonna defend your belt with that other guy. Remind me of his name, the 5-0 guy in one.
So yeah, he's a Korean. He's young. He's undefeated. His name's Kang Ji-won. So they had me. So the deal is this. So they had there was an Iranian by the name of Amir Ali Akbari. So he's a world champ for wrestling, a Greco-Roman world champ. But the guy is dirty as they come. He's banned from the Olympics because he's been caught doping so many times. He couldn't even go to the Olympics. So he's a lifetime cheat, and I can't stand those guys. I'd love to straighten him out. But this guy straightened him out before he even got to me. So there were conversations with the company, and they were building it up. So he fights this Korean, I fight Vera, and potentially after that, me and him get it on. But this Korean put him out in the round one. He's a southpaw, clean left hook, or clean left straight, put him out. So that's the name that makes sense to me. Maybe let him win a couple others and build himself back up. I'm not sure. But the immediate future is the pro wrestling. And we're putting that mace to work, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Wow. We got the inside scoop. That's what we got.
Well, you were telling us that WWE is like super popular in India, right?
Yeah, man. Their last event, or the regular viewership, they had 20 million people tune in.
Yeah.
That's their regular viewership in India. The biggest market in the world is India, period.
Yeah.
And who better than to legitimize your product than the real deal?
Yeah. How's the family been, man? Everybody, you first Indian champ. That's a huge deal, man. Like, how has that been feeling, man?
Junni, Dad's on the phone. Sorry, guys. It's huge, man. It's huge. And I'm only really starting to feel the, I guess, significance now. And that's where it comes from. My significance on a personal level, I wanted to be a world champ, period. The fact I can be the first and represent my roots makes it extra special. Mm-hmm. And to me, why that's special is it's in the history books forever. It doesn't matter what happens moving forward. It's there forever. No one can take that from me. No. And that's special for me, for my kids, for their kids. They'll know someone in our family did this. And that legacy piece is very important for me. For others, same thing. That, hey, someone from our community did this. It's possible. Yeah. It's possible for one of us to go out there and do it. Because one of the biggest stereotypes, I discussed this on the Ariel show too, especially in the States, they come over with those special visas, the N95 or whatever. Where they're very, they pick the students, the very smart people that come in the tech industries, the engineers, the doctors, what have you. Yeah. Those same special visas that fast track their way into the country don't apply to combat athletes that are in the jungles, man, that are just grinding away. So you don't see those people, although India has them. They don't get the opportunity to come out. So you got the stereotype that all they are studious and kind of, academic, where they got boxers, they got Olympic boxers, they got Olympic wrestlers, they got a combat history here, and they just need the platform. They need to know it's possible, and here's the route to get there. And that's what I'm excited about, to see what that's going to look like.
What are you going to do? Open up your own stable of fighters?
The world's our oyster right now, Manny. I'm getting a lot of requests, man. Yeah. We can run our own shows. We can manage guys. We can do whatever we want, man. Because we got connections with the boxers and with the rest. They all come from the same part. It's all in the north, right where I come from. It's weird how that happens. So the boxers are from a place called Little Cuba. That's what
Oh
they
yeah,
call it.
because there was a Cuban coach that went there.
That's it. There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's in Bamani in the state of Haryana, which borders Punjab, which is where I'm from. And they call that Little Cuba, and that's where all the guys come from. And then right next door, the next province, if you will, for us, is where all the wrestlers are from. So it's funny how that little pocket and why it's the north, because that's just centuries of battle. Anytime invading armies came in, they came to the north. That's how they'd sweep into the country.
So that's where the warriors are. That's where the warriors are, yeah.
That's it. Whoever lived, they were strong enough to live. So over years and years of battle, they're hardened.
Yeah, so it's genetics.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Have you noticed the growth of MMA in India since you started?
Absolutely. There's a huge. So AK, the American Kickboxing Academy out of San Jose, there, they got huge requests of franchises out there. They're opening up in India. I've had, there's a tremendous amount of interest. It's really blooming right now, and this is the perfect time for a champion to come through. So, and there's a lot of opportunity to get involved. And basically, we got to just pick and choose rather than spread ourselves out too thin. That's the real challenge now.
Daniel Cormier gave you a real good shout out, eh?
Yeah, man, isn't that crazy?
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
It was so we had a private conversation at first, and just when he was calling me, I got all nervous. I'm like, oh shit, this guy's calling me. I know why he's gonna call me. And I still have that, even though because I used to look up to him in wrestling first of all. Yeah. And he was the captain of the Olympic team then. Then he came here, he's the captain of the gym here. So he's always sort of been my senior. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then when he called, he just shared we shared a moment for sure. And then he ended the call. We reminisced about the whole journey. Yeah. And then he ended the call with welcome to the club. Yeah. And that meant a great deal to me, And he said, get your ass down here and bring the belt down here when you're coming too. So that's the next step.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. So let me ask you this. You come back to the UFC versus Ngannou. What are your thoughts?
Well, Ngannou and me are rep by the same guys.
Oh.
Let's get that straight. So we're all in-house. And he's engaged in a war with John Jones right now. That's what he wants more than anything. Mm-hmm. That's the one name he feels, he looks at the division, that will up his stature, if you will. And he's not sticking around long. He's almost on his way out here because they got their eyes on Tyson Fury and they want to go box.
No.
Yeah. That's the one. That's the one they're trying to make. And Top Rank and my management are all in house as well. They rep Top Rank, so that's easy. And that's what it is. That's what they want to do. So he's only here. I can't speak specifics. But he's not here for a long time. Let's just put it that way.
Tyson Fury still got to take care of Deontay Wilder, then Anthony Joshua. Who knows? Like, hopefully he gets Joshua before he gets Wilder. But I guess Wilder's got they arbitrated.
Yeah, he just won that.
Yeah,
that sucks.
Yeah. So by the time they shake that out, I think he'll be coming to the end of his contract as well, and hopefully he gets his hands on Jones before that. So it might actually be perfect timing, to be quite honest with you. Yeah. But aside from that, the question to me. Yeah, I've always got my eyes on the best in the world. And if we can, Dana doesn't do cross-promotional fights. He buys out guys, brings them in, and lets them fight in his company. So I don't think cross-promotion, if we can do that, great. But who knows? Let's see how things shake out.
But you're okay to retire without the UFC belt? Like, it doesn't mean that much?
Hey, man, I worry about me. I worry about my brand, how I'm going to take care of my ass and my family. I don't need nobody or nothing for that.
Exactly. You don't need the UFC. The UFC needs you.
Yeah. So,
and you made that clear. You made that clear when you told Dana White where to go.
Yeah, and that's the thing. People are like, how do you? I'm like, look, no one's going to watch my back more than me. I'm watching my own back. I'm not here fighting for them.
You're taking the shots, Sergeant.
I'm fighting for myself.
You're taking the shots, man.
Yeah, and you got these guys. You got this wonderful facility, world class in Vegas, called the UFCPI, Performance Institute. But I've been at the Olympic training centers of various countries around the world. I've seen the fancy facilities. I've done all. I'm here to be a world champion and get paid and take care of my loved ones and inspire people. And so, how do I do that? And for me, at this moment, It's where I'm at. If Dana changes his tune, that company changes. Because they had said India is not a priority market. One is the one that bought in. They said this is how we want to target them. This is how we see you playing a role in it. But it's always impossible until someone does it. So maybe it opens their eyes. Who knows?
What do you think of John Jones asking for 30+ million?
That's a great move. I'm surprised he's waited this long to play his hand at this. And he's got brothers in the NFL. He knows what pro athletes get paid, and he knows that it's out there that UFC athletes get paid 20% of revenues. And in boxing, it's the fighters who get 80% and the promoters get 20. It's reversed.
Yeah.
So why not? Why not? Why wouldn't he? He's a draw, and he's coming up. He's fighting in a different weight that he doesn't have to against the scariest, most dangerous guy in the world. He doesn't have to, and that's going to do huge numbers. Tell me a more intriguing fight that's out there. There is none. No. And he admits it. He's like, I was young and stupid. Instead of getting more money, I'd let them buy me a Bentley or something after my fight, and I'd be happy. Those cars all get old. They depreciate in value, and so does your value as an athlete. And I think he's starting to realize that. So you could have made 10, 20 million more and buy yourself so many more Bentleys.
Yeah, exactly. You know I got a question for you, Arjun. Who changed all that? Who changed all that in boxing that the boxers get 80%, not 20? No. Who changed all that?
Money May. You got to give
Money
May.
Money May left, and then De La Hoya was all upset. He's trying to sue Bob Arum for all those millions of dollars from the pay-per-views. He got nothing.
Yep.
Still upset.
I agree. So, and they're going through a class action lawsuit right now. The UFC is with former fighters that are trying to get the same classification under the Ali Act.
Yeah.
So I'm always for the fighters. At the end of the day, the fighters are the ones in there. 20-80 does not seem like a fair shake to me. But it is what it is, right? So.
Because it ain't Dana White taking a risk of getting his head knocked off.
Well, I'll give it this. Look, he does a great job promoting. Yeah. There's a machine behind the UFC that operates and all of that, and he's done a great job, especially through this pandemic. Yeah. And a lot of these promotions and promoters have. But do promoters deserve, significantly more than 50%, or even less than that? I'm still a fighter, and I'm under contract, so it is what it is.
So if you became president, what's the first thing you change? You give fighters 50% or more?
Well, it takes a fighter who's walked that path to really appreciate it, I would say. Mm-hmm. But then sometimes businesses and corporations are a machine of their own, and how the machine operates is as much profit as you can get, you get. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that's just a mechanism of the beast that is, or if a lot of these promoters, were blood and guts, even though they say they are, and they've been in there. I think if you went to the highest levels in the sport, I think it's difficult. I think it's difficult to say John Jones doesn't deserve more than $2 million for a fight. That's ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
How much?
2
million.
2 million.
Oh, that's their like before the pay-per-view, right?
And I think that's ridiculous, to be quite honest with you. So, they did McGregor dirty too, to be quite honest with you. Why is he handing over tens of millions of dollars for that Mayweather fight? They didn't even need anybody to promote it. McGregor and Mayweather promoted the shit out of it. They didn't go. Yeah. No one else tuned in because it was the UFC attached to it or anything. They just, I don't understand that.
Well, I guess Dana White's saying that I made your name through the UFC, so you owe us.
No, but you know what? You know why McGregor's so stupid. And what he should have done, that Ali Act applies to boxing. That's a boxing fight. Dana shouldn't have been involved, period. And that would have went to the courts, and that would have set precedent. But he could have done it. He would have been the guy because he's a big enough name. Yeah. But
he talked about it. He said the Ali Act, blah, blah, blah. So they worked out some kind of backdoor deal, and they're on good terms too, right?
Yeah, the backdoor deal is probably his whiskey or this or that, but he still had to pay him. It is what it is. It is the whiskey. That's exactly his backdoor deal. But you could have changed the landscape. They promoted it,
and now he just sold so much stakes, and he's the richest athlete, right, on Forbes.
So you're telling me if he goes and fights without working this deal, he can't go get that whiskey? Give me a break.
No, I'm not telling you that.
You know what I mean? So, I don't know.
No, I hear you.
Yeah.
Listen, Do you have a message to the country of India as their first champion?
We did it, baby! No, yeah, we did it, and it's possible. That's it. Yeah. Those are the two messages. It's possible, and everyone out there that was thinking otherwise, it's possible. Get to work and get there yourself now. If you ever need guidance, reach out. I am here. But we are no less than anybody else in this world, and it's possible. Go get to work. Go do it.
You know, and that's beautiful because it kind of ties into my next question. I'm sure you've seen within Vancouver's Indo community the gang violence in the last month. I think 7 young men, 20-year-olds shot. Do you have thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's 7 young men out of tens of thousands, if not 100,000 or more that we have. So we got to keep that in perspective. Headlines do tell the end of the day. You know, there's a lot of positive stories within that same time span that didn't make the headlines. Yeah, so I want to make a point of that first. If the headlines read as many positive stories as they do those sensational ones, you know, we might have a different spin on the stereotype. But it is what it is. For those guys, it's unfortunate. It's not even over money, from what I understand. It's a lot of ego, and ego doesn't serve anyone unless you force it to, unless you guide it in the right direction. I just tell them we are combat athletes. We are warriors. That is your bloodline. We come from chaos and war. Just don't do it in the streets against each other. Get into a martial art. That's what I would tell them.
Yeah, and you're right to correct what I said, because of course it is a minor percentage of the community. But for us, we work with that demographic, right? So it's like, how do you get a kid who's so invested in their own ego and their own reputation on the street and show them another way, you know what I mean? A positive way to channel.
Put him in a martial art, and that ego will be humbled, because we all get humbled in the gym. And he'll get some confidence because he knows he can humble others. And so you don't need to go and prove it on the street. Just give that guidance and give a safe space for that ego.
But do you know what I correlate that to your fighting style, Arjun, because you have such good distance that you control your own destiny, and that's the same thing they can do with their own egos, is they can control it and not engage in a battle. They can just step to the side or...
Yeah, you're right. I never considered that. Yeah. You're right. Absolutely.
So
I like it. I like it when life plays to my terms. I like that.
Yeah, and that's what you do with your style. You know what I'm saying? You're not one of these guys that just throws it out the window. I'm going to go in there and brawl. Like, you're not like that, man.
No, those brothers get hurt. What did Mike Tyson say? Right, a tough guy gets hurt in this game. Yeah. So I know I'm tough, but you're going to have to really get to me for me to flex on you in that way. I'd rather just be smart first.
You want to be able to speak some words when you're 50.
Oh, absolutely. I'm doing this for my family, right? I want to enjoy it. I want to get into the movies after. Yeah. I want to live a life pro wrestling. Like, this isn't the be all end all. I want to do the pro wrestling. I want to get into movies. I want to be there for my kids, and you know, I want to live a long life, not just while I'm a fighter.
Yeah.
I love it, man. I think it's inspiring how you're choosing the right moves for you and your family. You don't care about any other than noise.
No. Why would I? I mean, I'll take people's opinions and then I'll chew it up and what makes sense to me, because at the end of the day, I'm living this life and I'm putting in the work, not anybody else.
Right. So you want the biggest paydays for the most efficient way.
That's it, and the most fun, and there's a lot of different ways to get paid. You're talking about street guys, there's a lot of different ways to get paid. I just choose this because I connect with it, and it's a lot of fun.
You should call out Jake Paul then and just...
Well, what's that term, punching down?
Right.
You know, so literally, physically, as well as, that's not going to happen. And it is whatever. I think it's good. You know, it gets people excited for the sport of boxing, especially if they have real fights on there. I mean, I was pumped for this Billy Joe Saunders and Canelo fight, and I watched the Triller event. So why not do both?
Yeah.
Well, it was awesome talking. We'll see you on Saturday, Arjun.
All right, guys. I appreciate it. My phone's at 2%, so it's perfect timing.
Thanks, Arjun.
Thank you, Arjun.
Thank you.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah,
see you guys soon.
Jerry Trimble. Yeah, Jerry Trimble was a bad motherfucker.
Golden Boy. That's what they call Atlanta's Jerry Trimble.
He